So the Commission for Gender Equality is today sending more than 60, I believe it's 66 observers to voting districts across the country. It's to ensure that gender discrimination does not prevent people from exercising their right to vote. This Chapter 9 institution will then produce an election observer report outlining the outcome of its assessment. For more on this story, we're joined now by Commission Chairperson Tamara Mathebula. She joins us live from Pretoria this morning. Tamara, a very good morning to you. It's great to see you on this election day. It's an exercise that you've been undertaking since 2009, I believe. Why is it so important that you send these observers?
Greetings to you, Michelle, and greetings to viewers. Yes, thank you very much for having me this morning. Great day is here, and I must say that it's quite critical for the Commission to actually go out on this particular day. And you would know that we started long ago in 2009 observing all the elections that followed. And we are doing this in terms of Section 86 of the Electoral Act of 1998, and we have been accredited all these years to observe the local government elections in line with the accreditation observers. And we are doing this as the Commission because we know that issues of gender and gender equality, when we are going for elections, when we develop our manifestos, and when we go and cast our votes, like we will be doing today, there will be sometimes issues of discrimination on the basis of gender. Sometimes you will find that there could be violation of rights, of human rights as enshrined in the Constitution. And again, we want to make sure that we observe that there are no impediments, particularly to those people that really need assistance, like the elderly women, elderly men, pregnant women, persons with disabilities, who should actually access things like Braille, in order to make sure that they are able, to vote, and these votes are free and fair. And we also want to make sure that we look at issues of safety and security inside and outside. And once we have this report developed, we always share our findings with the IEC in terms of saying that this is where we need to improve moving forward to the next election.
Yeah. So as we said, you've been accredited as observers since 2009. The report that you've just mentioned, the report that you compile once the elections are completed and that you hand over to the IEC, would you say over the years and over the past few elections that there's been an improvement, that we've perhaps gone from a lower point and there's been consecutive improvements from the national elections to the municipal elections that we've held?
Absolutely, yes. There has been improvement in terms of, the approach, but also in terms of the law. The Gender Commission, as a Chapter 9, as a sister Chapter 9 institution to the IEC, has actually worked very closely with this Chapter 9 institution in terms of reviewing its electoral act so that the act itself is gender sensitive. This is one area that we realized that it was not gender sensitive. It should actually not be gender blind. So we have contributed to the review of the Act. Secondly, we have developed reports over the years. If I can just mention one that we developed in 2014, which is called From Rhetoric to Gender Reality. This is one particular report where we actually looked at the national as well as the provincial elections. And this is where we actually made influence together with the IEC in terms of, how the manifestos should be developed. We call the political parties, we sit them down, and we say to them, when you choose your leaders, make sure that, the balance, the gender is balancing. There should be women and there should be men that are put into leadership so that they are able to look at issues that are actually beginning to address, aspirations of both women, men, boys, girls equally. And again, as we move forward, this is something that we normally do. After the elections, the Gender Commission will go all out to local government, to municipalities, and would train those leaders that have been chosen, those municipal managers, including the staff at that level, including the leaders, the mayors, and everybody else, to say that when we are actually choosing the councillors, the mayors, and everybody else, we need to make sure that we train them on gender mainstreaming, because as they develop their integrated development plans, as they develop their bylaws, all of these bylaws must benefit, all the services must benefit women and men, girls and boys, persons with disabilities, members of the LGBTIQ communities equally. Yeah. So that's where we actually influence. And I must say that having looked at what has been happening over the years, you will know that based on our influence, in Parliament today we have a 50-50 men and men, who are actually been appointed equally as the ministers. And through our influence, we are slowly getting to actually influence men and men participation in the electoral as well as in the local level leadership that we have, so that we have councillors, we have shadow councillors, we have ward councillors that are made by men and women equally, and they are able to take issues that affect these genders equally and take their issues forward.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important, all of the issues that you've mentioned. If I do fall into the categories that you've just mentioned, in terms of gender equality, in terms of the treatment of women and children, of the elderly, people who might need assistance with Braille at the ballot box, if there are gaps in how my voting station is being managed, what are the avenues that I can follow insofar as getting in touch with the IEC and lodging a complaint? And if indeed there is someone from gender equality that's there, speaking to that person directly?
Yes, if there are impediments or if someone is actually struggling, definitely there will be observers, not only from the Gender Commission. You will know that we have more than 2,000 as the IEC observers that have been deployed in all 9 provinces, including those that are coming from the Gender Commission. But there will definitely be observers locally, and there are international observers that are coming to join us in South Africa in terms of observing these elections and make sure that these elections are free and fair. So if there are any impediments that our citizens are experiencing, I would encourage them that they should approach not only the observers, also the political party agents, but also the electoral offices that are properly trained, that are well capacitated to deal with the issues, just to make sure that if you are blind and if you cannot see, you must actually approach one of the observers, approach the IEC officers and ask for things like ballot papers that are made out of Braille, and you will definitely be assisted. And again, in terms of people who are voting in different districts, I know that people tend to be turned away, but they should be given good instructions as to why they are turned away. And they should be assisted with transport that will be transported them from point A to point B, so that we avoid situations where people or women and older people would walk a mile from one VD and going to another. And these are some of the things that we will be observing. But also we are observing the fact that elderly people are assisted quickly. Pregnant women are taken off the line. Those that are visibly pregnant, they are taken off the queues and they are actually made to go in front of the queue to vote. So those are some of the things. And women that are carrying children, young babies, these are the people that we will actually be assisting in terms of making sure that they are assisted quickly and they can go back. And should there be any discrimination or should there be any unrest, these are some of the things that we will be reporting quickly, working closely with the officers, IEC officers, as well as the SAPs that are visible at all times at these VDs.
Yeah. Tamara, Mathebula, let me thank you for your time this morning. Thanks very much indeed, and all the best with the incredibly important work that you're doing on this election day around the country. Tamara Mathebula is the chairperson of the Commission for Gender Equality. It's sending 66 people across all provinces as observers today. Thanks very much indeed.